We'll do the best we can here with a little handoff of this mechanism. You don't have to go over there. You can come all the way over here. Do I? I'm all right. All right. It's still early.
I was going to comment.
Later in the day. This is really cool. I'm excited that the folks who have spoken first, and I mentioned I was gonna blow your mind.
Yes.
I think there's a theme developing here, but I have to tell you, Carly, 1990 and 1991, and a little in 92, I was Humphrey Hawk. I've retired from professional mascotting, but it was a good time. It was a good time. It was a hot and stinky time, Kochman era. He did. I was in the Pompadour Humphrey back in the day. Okay, sorry. We head back. I'm Chris Haskell. Please call me Doc. I'm a professor here. Been here 13 years in the College of Education, and I'm the head coach for Esports. And it is the greatest scam I have ever perpetrated. I'm around video games and players all day long, and we're here to talk about what that is and what that means. We talk about these, really the message has been storytelling and messaging, and how organizations are responsible to create and share the narrative that their teams produce, whether it's the Hawks or whether it's the trio that Craig supports. It's a lot about understanding what your story is and making sure that people understand it, because that's what it is. Every baseball game is a story. Every esports match, or League of Legends match, is a story, and we have to find a way to tell that. So, just a little about your Boise State esports program. We're a 5-game program: League of Legends, Hearthstone, Overwatch, StarCraft, and Rocket League. Those are the varsity games we play. Our students are varsity athletes. They're held by the same student code as football players and baseball players. They have a 20-hour limit. We follow, although we're not regulated by the NCAA, we follow all their guidelines. And they have the same student experience as many of the athletes do. The difference is their playing field. It's digital. This semester, we'll have over 100 different matchups against 88 different universities. And right now, we're the winningest collegiate esports program in the nation. We're relatively new, as everybody is, with 176 wins out of about 310 games. So we are constantly in the process of preparation. And it would look exactly like you would expect it to look. We watch film, both of ourselves and our opponents. We prepare through practices and scrimmages. There are playbooks for all of these games. There's a unique, very specific guided vocabulary and language for each of these games for communication. We analyze and evaluate all of that. They're coached by professional players and professional coaches around the world, but because it's digital, we can bring them into practice from Reykjavik, Iceland, which is where one of our coaches is from, or Dallas, Texas. It doesn't matter. We are also, and this is very interesting, responsible for the telling of our own story. And Ryan's going to talk a little bit about, we see folks playing games, but what we don't understand is all of the other people that support that gameplay, and he's going to talk quite a bit about the careers. But as a program, we do about 300 hours of live broadcasting ourselves every semester from our arena downtown, a broadcast desk of 3, a production suite of between 5 and 7 personnel, selecting the camera angles, making sure the audio is right, monitoring the Twitch stream, making sure that the conversation is appropriate for a college event. And then there's all the people who help the students prepare and analyze video. We have analysts who do a lot of detailed work into our opponents to see if, I think they're going to play the cannon tonight, we should ban out the cannon. It's an incredible process that I wish we could show you what it looks like, but you're going to have to just accept our invite and come and take a look. I'll close with just a short little story here and then pass off to Ryan to talk about everything that's involved with collegiate esports. But last March, we traveled to the basketball, the Mountain West Championships in Las Vegas, because they also hold the Esports Championships there. And we played in the semifinal game against Air Force. By the way, Air Force is here this week. We play Air Force tonight in Overwatch. We play them tomorrow live in League of Legends. If you ever want to see the Air Force Academy esports players, they all look like fighter pilots because they wear, I'm not kidding, their flight suits on stage. It's really kind of a bold move, and it works. It's pretty intimidating, but they're going to be in our arena on South Capitol tomorrow night. And then Rocket League on Friday. We play the same opponents as our football team does and our basketball team during their season, during the same week. And so, but we were in town playing for the championships, and managed to defeat Air Force. Well, what does an esports player do when they win a game? Actually, they go back to their hotel room. We pull up the video of the team that we're going to play next. We start looking back into their history. The coaches go to work in trying to create a good game plan, watching more video. The players actually go out, do interviews, come back, eat. They come back for a team meeting, a short practice, a walkthrough, which is a little easier because we don't need a football field. We can do it on laptops. An early call, a wake up, more media, one more walkthrough before we take the stage against San Jose State. And in the end, we come up short and are the runner-ups in our Mountain West Conference. But at the end of the day, they, like all the esports students, are learning how to prepare, how to lose with dignity, win with grace and kindness, how to make the best out of themselves, identify their own weaknesses, help to cover the weaknesses of their teammates, things that will be incredibly valuable as they move forward. And those are just 5 of the positions that are available in esports. So I pass it off to Ryan.
Hi. Yeah. All right. Like Dr. Haskell introduced, my name is Ryan McNamee. I'm the Director of Operations here at Boise State for the Esports Department. The most common question that I get asked, as I'm hitting all my buttons, so I apologize. The most common question I get asked is, how does playing video games become a career? Is it even possible to be a professional video game player? The simple answer is yes. As someone who spent the last 15 years of my career dedicated in the esports field, I can tell you that the career paths for esports is endless. I started playing video games in high school during the early 2000s, playing local and national tournaments, winning some cash here and there, but at the time it was just a hobby. I was working full-time and going to school full-time to become a mechanic. My father's a master technician for Toyota. I always thought I was going to grow up to become a mechanic. I was given an opportunity to work for an international broadcast company that specialized in broadcasting esports. The unique thing about esports is the ability to broadcast these events online. The online service is called Twitch. For those who aren't aware, Twitch is basically Netflix, but for video games. In any given time of the day, you could tune into Twitch and see thousands upon thousands of people playing video games, and even more people watching them play video games. Whether it's a major tournament or a video game streamer, Twitch has brought esports into the mainstream media. During the earlier part of this decade, companies like ABC, ESPN, WGN all ignored the rise of esports. Now you could find the World Overwatch League being broadcasted on ESPN and ABC Weekly. In Korea, there's a dedicated TV station exclusive to esports games like Dota, League of Legends, and StarCraft. In Europe, a good friend of mine and a former coworker started a pub that serves local beer and wine. It's basically a sports bar, but instead of traditional sports on the televisions, it's esports. It was one of the first esports bars in the world, and there's now over 40 in Europe. This wasn't a fad or a phase. This was the invention of the wheel, the discovery of the fire, and the next industrial boom. During my earlier 20s, I played for a professional esports team that traveled throughout the country playing video games. I made a career out of playing video games. I dedicated my time to learning new strategies, reviewing my opponent's games, and doing anything I can to gain that upper hand. Like most professional esports players, I got burnt out, got tired playing the same game every day, day in and day out. I wanted to do something more, and in the end, I wanted a career. As I mentioned, I worked for a broadcast company that specialized in esports. I worked as a broadcast producer, learning the ins and outs of what it takes to run a show. Even though that show is video games, I learned how to set up staging, lights, cameras, mics, putting on events like this, all for a video game. The skills I learned was on par with most TV shows and movie sets. I worked in the heart of Burbank, California, and I got to partner with companies like Warner Brothers, Microsoft, NetherRealm Studios, Disney, putting on events for them. This time next year, Disney's actually going to be hosting a world event at Disneyland in Paris. Some of these events were live where you could come in and watch the tournament take place in person in the studio, or you could watch the event online. Part of my job was running major tournaments in different states. One of my favorite events that I ever worked on was working at the Los Angeles Staples Center in California. We hosted the North American Finals for a major video game tournament. In attendance, we sold out the arena, 44,000 seats, and we sold out for a video game tournament. Online, 2 million people tuned in online for only one day of broadcasting. 2 million people in one day. Now, what does it take to run an esports team or an esports company? Just think of it like any normal business. You have a product and you want to sell that product. We had production managers, directors, entire social media teams, video producers, content creators, website admins, HR personnel, graphics designers, event coordinators, sales and marketing teams, IT directors, and managers, all for one team or company. And that's not even including the players and their coaches and their team managers and their equipment managers. Again, all for a video game team. Now, do all those people that are involved in this team play video games? Most do. But they don't play video games as a career. They found what they love, which was video games, and made a career out of it with esports. With our students in our program, some want a career in esports. Some want a career in the educational field that they're in school for in the first place. Some may even go on to become pro esports players. With our program, we can help them achieve whatever their goal is. You don't have to play video games or be good at them to have a career in esports. You can make a career at whatever you're passionate about. Thank you.